So with that, we come to an end of the presentation, but what I want to do now was just get all of the, my entrepreneur friends and of course, Father here to be a part of the panel here, and let's get a conversation going. So can I invite Shriti, Sriram, Sourabh, Prathaap and Samir, yes, or Prathaap, okay, come. Guys, come. I think we've got about 25 minutes or so more. Have a seat, please. Can I get a couple of mics? Okay, come, sit. Just pass the panel. I think I'll just stand. I think I'm better off standing in front of all of these people rather than sitting, so I'm just going to stand here. Let me get the conversation going, and I think all of them. I'm not going to spend time, introducing them or having them introduce themselves. Okay, all right. If you insist. Okay, that's good. No worry. Thanks. Okay, so I think introductions aside, what I thought is, for each of you, maybe a quick, we've got an esteemed audience here who, they're from the world over, parts of corporates, parts of various institutions. How do you see engaging them? Because it's not just about India, it's not just about Bangalore, it's about the world that we live in. How do we make it sustainable? So any opening thoughts? Let's start with the lady here. Shriti?
As I mentioned even when I was presenting that, in India the problem is paddy and wheat. But if you look at Southeast Asia, there's enormous amount of coconut that is available. If you look in Africa, there's a lot of cassava that's available. So the idea is that the crop that we are talking about, it's not local. Every country, agriculture is one business that is never going to go away. And as long as we do agriculture, there's going to be a byproduct. So all we are trying to do here is build a model, build a case study at scale in India, which we think can definitely be replicated across the world with different fibers, different raisins, and address, as Dr. Joseph said, habitat and housing in a sustainable manner.
Thank you. Prathaap, what do you think? You did touch upon the impact, but what do you seek from the audience that we have?
I think the audience here and online definitely the problem at hand in terms of infrastructure, more specifically the road infrastructure which is developing around. I think the connectivity is a biggest challenge in most of the economic and developing countries. Incidentally, in the last about 6 months of time, 3 large corporates from 3 different countries reached out to us. Yeah. One from Nigeria, again, one from Kenya and Nigeria, 2 African countries, one from the Middle East, and another from part of an Indonesian infrastructure. Now, if you look at these kind of countries which are reaching out, they all are similar to an Indian context of infrastructural economic developments, the kind of government policies that they have, the kind of issues in terms of waste management, the per square meter dense population that they see. It's all similar in scale. I wouldn't see too much of people coming in from European countries or American countries saying that I have a road issue, but in the Indian context, it is relevant. We've had and I see a hand that, it is a similar issue there as well. It's definitely a bad road condition, quite a few, especially post-monsoon. I think it's a great opportunity, and I think this platform and eminent set of people here are, definitely a great way of collaboration and way forward.
Right. Sriram, what do you got to add?
Yeah, I think let me step back and wear a kind of idealistic hat here. I think we are all part of this ecosystem, this one planet we can live on. We are the only, every species in this ecosystem has a symbiotic relationship with the ecosystem. We give and take seamlessly, organically, and live. We are the only species which has planned, designed, and stepped out of the ecosystem. And all of us have a role to play here. We have designed and moved out and have been just taking from the ecosystem, which is not possible unless we find a wormhole to travel to another planet or another solar system. This is it. So it's not a planet, we have to save ourselves. And it will seem activistic, but it's a very selfish and a very practical thing. We need to go back and every business, if not real estate, I'm sure there are in different organizations here and online. I think how can you make sustainability as a core business value and build your business around? If you do that, there are enough solutions around. The key thing is to pull that in and bring it back to core to you, and then everything else is easy to do.
Okay. Samir, what do you want from the esteemed audience here?
I think the audience and I think my panelists are doing some amazing work, and I think the larger expectation from the audience is the same. Sustainability is not just a buzzword, it's not just a concept. Sustainability is a way of life. Sustainability has to be brought into each and everything we do, right from the way we live, right from the place in which we live, right from the clothes that we choose to buy and wear. There are kind of clothes, the latest fast fashion, that's not the sustainable way of life. We are doing our part in, as Apul had mentioned, all of us had raised hands that during lockdown we all saw how good the air quality could be, or how beautiful the roads of Bangalore or whichever our respective cities could be. So we are doing our part in removing 40% of the pollution that hits these cities, and I think we can all do our parts in doing each and everything that we do in our life in a sustainable manner.
Okay, cool. Father, what about you? I mean, I think you've been working on some fabulous stuff in terms of building millions of homes. How do you see this, coming together? Your thoughts on that? And then.
Thank you, Apul. What I feel is that we have to really walk the talk. And that's what my friend was also telling, that we need to really internalize these reflections and see that this is the real way of life for everyone. We Caritas, we are an international organization, and we have multi-country programs wherein we have a lot of opportunities and space for knowledge sharing. We work very closely with the South Asian countries on many of these solutions on sustainable livelihood, also bringing a lot of knowledge solutions with the European Union and other bilateral organizations as well. My second thought here is that, as I said, community is the solution and community has the solution. So much of our solution has to be community driven, and see whether it is really community focused, as well as I was trying to say. Community is our strength. What I believe is that you have the technology and we have the community. So let's come together.
Very nice, very nice. I mean, this is an area of passion for me, and I can speak to these guys for hours, but let me open it up for the audience here who has been patiently waiting. Yes, sir, how can, can somebody, might as well. Can I? Sure.
Thank you, Apul.
Sure.
It's extremely engaging to be here this afternoon. And from the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce, I have certain observations and also some suggestions and some help which I'd like to offer here. First, I'd start from Dr. Varghese. Father, it's fantastic to hear you. And you took me back to my childhood of age 4 when I was in Bishop Cotton School, Shimla. Not Bangalore, but in Shimla. And, this sustainability and environment issues were actually ingrained in us in school from the time we entered school. And I'm telling you this as a fact that there was a matron called Mrs. Goss when I was in Lindithco at age 4. And the first thing I remember is, and it's still, when I'm talking to you, it's visual in front of me. That's how ingrained it became into our persona. And it's not just me. There are 400 children in that in Bishop Cotton School, where in the morning at 4:35, before we went for the run, we had to brush our teeth. And she would stand and see that the water that we're using for brushing our teeth was enough just to wet the bristles. And if we took more than that, she had a ruler and she'd come and hit us and whack us and say, do you know how precious water is on this planet? Don't waste it. I'm talking literally, huh? We were not allowed to waste even one drop of water, and it was ingrained in us. Even when we were in the dining room, the water was seen, it was only given to the extent that you could drink, not waste. Second came food, where she said not even one morsel should be wasted because it serves to feed millions, and if you waste it, it's contributing to the garbage. Who's going to lift your garbage and dispense with it? The third thing which we were taught was, want not, waste not. And I'm so happy that Samir here has talked about clothing, which is, I was talking across during lunch hour, that we were taught when we were kids to darn our clothes and pass them down generations. Now, fashion is that you wear torn clothes, but you can't wear darn clothes. And we know how expensive it is to manufacture clothes and to throw them and waste it. Now, I'm stating it for a fact. I'm sitting in front of you, and I'm wearing a suit that's nearly 15 years old, right? So it's so ingrained. So Dr. Varghese, I think it starts with childhood, what is ingrained in our institutions and schools, which is lacking today. The other thing which you were told is that we had nature study every week once, and we used to go out in the woods, and we used to go out, and we had to observe nature, and we were taught not to break flowers. Observe them, leave them in the natural habitat, but don't break them and don't touch them. This natural study, nature study should come back into the schools if we have to change ourselves. Apul, I have a suggestion for you from Indo-American Chamber of Commerce, and which is, it's great to know that a builder and into construction is talking in such an environmental friendly manner and talking business. America is very good at doing Adobe construction. And Adobe construction is nothing but, and they do it in a laser, where they use laser technology.
Right.
It's also what's used in Germany,
Yeah.
and in Shantiniketan in Calcutta, in West Bengal. And I would like you to partner and get this going in India, in Adobe construction, right?
Absolutely.
I don't need to go deeper into it. I can see her nodding, and she knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. And everyone knows the benefits of mud construction and wood construction. The second thing which I'd like to offer you, which I've been examining, but I've not been able to make much progress, is there's a company in the US that is manufacturing engineered wood. It's not natural wood.
Yeah.
They're genetically engineering wood, right? And if I'm not mistaken, 3M recently invested into that company. So I'd like to get on board with this with you on the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce.
Absolutely.
Dr. Prathaap, you're talking about your surface. Calcutta was known for its potholes. And I'd like to propose that I would like to introduce you to the Mayor of Calcutta and would like to bring your technology into Calcutta and make use of it.
I look forward. Thank you so much.
And from Indo-American Chamber, not many would know, maybe quite a few know, that America is lacking in infrastructure hugely. They are decades behind in infrastructure, and they're going to spend trillions of dollars in the infrastructure. So why don't you partner the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce of introducing a technology into the United States of America? So I'd invite you to partner us on that. Samir, about your charging. This is something which is, well, I've been into vehicles, automobiles, and since the age of 8, 10. My father wouldn't allow me to touch the mobile until I could split it apart and take it. So I'm extremely fond. And I'm also happy that I could see one of the electric motorcycles here, right? Yeah. I've been talking to her, and which is combining drones with mobiles and making drone mobility. That's another chapter later on. But what I want to talk to you about is charging infrastructure is the order of the day. And you answered a question of mine, in which I would like you to come across and partner in Calcutta also, because Calcutta is going to bring in about, incidentally, West Bengal has announced that Calcutta will stop the sale and distribution of ICE engines, cars and vehicles by 2030, right? It's going to be off the roads. and they're going to put in about 34,000 charging stations. But your technology is something that's answered something in my mind, that if I can have every lamppost as an advertisement board, why the bloody hell can't I have a charging station on a lamppost?
Brilliant.
Right? I mean, why do I still couldn't understand it, and you answered this question of mine. So we'd like to replicate that. And on this, I would also like to say that the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce has been invited to partner, this time Vibrant Gujarat, on an eco-platform. And I'd be very happy, Jose, if we could replicate this on that and then take it forward to a global convention, which is going to take on world majors coming in sometime next year. And I'd like to take this up very seriously. I'm extremely impressed with what's going on out here. And it's very nice to see that there are startups out here talking about environmental issues and not just information technology. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You know, it's very rare that it happens wherein, you know, somebody is offering, you know, projects right away or business right away. So thank you so much. We definitely look forward to, you know, engaging with you further. You know, just on that line, also, you know, very recently what started happening is because of the amount of work that we are doing, a lot of global startups, India is a massive market, but it's a very nuanced market in terms of the, you know, the cultural understanding, the you know, quality versus quantity, cost versus benefit, all of that. So a lot of startups are reaching out to us, and that's one thing that we're doing. And the other is the startups, you know, these are the 4 here, but then there are, you know, another 46 in the fold there, are all looking at global markets because they are absolutely able to make an impact today. So it's great to hear from you. Thank you so much. I'll definitely connect with you, and so should, you know, all of you. Great. Any other questions? You know, I think let's get a. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Couldn't have said better. Thank you. Thank you. Folks, I think there's a question there. Yeah. Okay. Or maybe. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Thank you, Kapil. It's a beautiful setup we have here.
Thank you.
And I was just sitting here and listening, and I thought, how about Caritas would be the showcase for all your solutions worldwide?
Thank you for making that case.
Yeah.
Couldn't
It's
have
so
asked-
obvious. It's so
I couldn't
obvious. It's so
you
obvious.
just simplified it for me. Thank you so much.
Jan, all the way from Germany, maybe could be a kind of liaison with our counterpart in Germany, Caritas Germany and Miserio, who got very strong tie-ups with the German government, and we are already working with the BMZ. Maybe we could explore that, absolutely, and taking to our country and beyond. Thank you for that proposition.
Yeah. Looks good. I think, you know, remind me I have to take autographs of all of these guys, because these guys are all, I think the life's made for them. If all of this happens, I think it's going to be tough to get a hold of these guys. So that's for me. But any other questions, guys? Yes, the gentleman there, please.
My name is Manjunath, and I have a media house called Smart Sustain, and I know most of them. And the one thing about sustainability is, like, especially the PropTech, people have this notion, or you know, the thing about cost. I mean, India is very price sensitive, right? They always says they want to go sustainable, especially in the PropTech. But how do you convince that, okay, in the long term, the sustainability practices are, you know, it will gain? Because awareness is one thing which has to be told to the, either to the business houses or the consumers, right? So how does each and everybody, I can ask everybody to tell about any awareness programs you are running in your own organizations?
Okay.
Through digital platform, through any other meeting.
So let me just try and set a context of how we went about spearheading this. So when we started REAP, which is for Real Estate Accelerator Program, you know, people looked at us and said, I think you guys have lost it. You guys have lost it. This community doesn't use technology. And you know what, India, the number represents 0.9% of the revenue goes back into technology in the real estate domain. Industry average is 3.3. So when we started, it was very tough. So Manjuna, thanks for bringing that up. It was very tough. But what we have realized is at the end of the day, any corporate, any entity is looking for one of two things. Either you help me increase my top line or you help me reduce my bottom line. That's the, that's the summation of all of it. Now, if you're able to tangibly deliver that, right? So what we do with the startups here is, let's not worry about vanity metrics. Let's not worry about impact you can make 5 years from now, valuation that you have garnered today and what you're looking at. Show us the benefits right here, right now, today, and let's go out to the market, understand the customer, deliver the value to him, show the value to them, and then go ask them for a POC. Now, more often than not, what has happened is 100% of our startups have got business from the real estate fraternity, which, and I'm sure these guys can talk about it more, is one of the most difficult segments to get in from a business point of view and from getting them to pay money. I mean, judgment aside, I'm not judging, but it's just tough to break into that market. So I genuinely believe, Manjuna, that the way is for any company, any sector, if you're able to tangibly show the value on a platter and have a time duration around it, I think it's a matter of time when people look at the cost. I mean, they are price sensitive, but the value that you give, it's 10x the cost that they have to bear, then they'll probably come around. But enough about me. Others, you have to, I know you guys have been nodding your heads. Yes, Sriram, go ahead.
Actually, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're right. It's a great question, and the learning was also that I think India is a very number-sensitive country. So everything revolves around how are you able to show, and sustainability also should be a measured approach, right? So once numbers come out, it makes sense, and it's fascinating that as Apul said, we are a decade behind this industry, real estate industry. So they are now catching on. They like the idea that technology is going to help, and we're tangibilizing sustainability, right? That's what especially Smarter Than does. We have now, actually, just to give you an example, right? One of our client, which won last year award by Asia Pacific for being the greenest residential project in Asia Pacific zone by World Green Building Council. We have exact numbers. We know that the residence maintenance cost ranges anywhere from 1 rupee 21 paise per square feet to 2 rupees 87 paise per square feet over 30-month data. So we know that their customer, the buyer, is going to see this value. Once they see that, they're willing to put that extra capex as needed. It's not, and the second thing is customers themselves are more aware now. They're asking, can you say 5 years from now I'll have water? Right, so I think that tangibilizing it is coming in, and numbers are speaking. That's when it's happening. This idea that it's a CSR activity, I need to go plant some trees or paint a school green, those days are gone. Now it's front and center. That's what businesses should be doing.
Yeah.
So at Strawcture, we believe that affordability and sustainability go hand in hand. By default, if you're using a raw material to build a building, any building material for that matter, external or internal application, the closer the raw material is to where the construction is happening, that will outdo, something coming from another country in a shipping container. The easiest example is wood. Now, in India, we don't have enough wood to meet our, furniture demand. More than 40% is imported. Some of it is organized, some of it is trafficking, but it's imported. Now, here is a raw material that is available at 1/5 the cost of wood. And I'm still saying a cost because we are paying, but we have actually met farmers who are willing to give it away for free. So you're either paying 1/5 or you're getting it for free. That raw material, when converted into a building material, will any day be most affordable than, a traditional material where its ingredients are coming from far off, needs to be imported, needs to be dug, there needs to be energy utilized. So we definitely believe that if you use more and more waste, whether it's straw, whether it's construction demolition, whether it's plastic, to build your interior, exterior, it will by default be affordable, and sustainable is by design.
Yeah. Any other thoughts? Yeah. Go ahead.
At CHARZER, from the start, there has been a focus on accelerating the move towards electric mobility. And this thought came from, you know, seeing the younger generation suffering ourselves. I did not start wearing masks when COVID started. I started wearing masks from the last 4 years when I used to drive motorcycles on the road. So when COVID started, I already had a stockpile of 15 N95 masks because I was already purchasing them. And that's the reality of our Indian cities. You know, if we are staying in the top Indian cities which rank in terms of population, we are topmost in the world. Most of our cities are like that. It's equivalent to smoking 500 to 1000 cigarettes a day, even if you're not a smoker. So we are measuring the number of kilometers, the grams of carbon that we are saving by delivering those number of kilometers on each and every charging that we do. And we are creating a report, we are creating a carbon score and providing it to each and every customer so that they can also see the impact that they are having on the ground.
All right, I think maybe one last, yeah, I think I see 2 hands, so maybe we'll just, can somebody?
I'm just, there's one idea and one question. The one idea is we've been talking about recycling and circular economy. And I think we really have to look into retrofitting buildings to make them sustainable. And I came across a solution actually from the Netherlands. It's called Energy Sprong. And you're nodding, you obviously know the concept. I'm just saying 2 words about it. You invite Energy Sprong to your house, they retrofit your house, and you still pay the same electricity bill and the same water bill as you always did. And all the money you save, or the money is saved by having good appliances there, goes to Energy Sprong. So there's no front-up investment at the beginning. So that could be an idea of, you know, retrofitting. The question for CHARZER, I'm wondering, you know, if we're talking about EVs, we need green energy for that, because it doesn't make any sense to have coal production and having then electricity provided. Is there any plan from you, have solar panels, battery, and having that like a self-fulfilling, you know, circle?
Yeah, thank you for raising the question. This is always a concern. Are we really moving towards a more sustainable alternative? Let me first preface it by saying that electric vehicles are inherently more green. Even if the electricity gets produced by coal, we are still moving it away from the cities, and you know, they are 90% efficient compared to petrol vehicles which are 20% efficient, and that the front end is ready. For example, Karnataka is already 45% renewable energy. 45% of electricity in Karnataka comes from renewable. At the level of CHARZER, we are working with several solar installation companies. In some locations, we have integrated with solar panels in some societies where they are taking energy from solar panels. We do load management in a manner where we control the maximum amount of load so that, you know, it still can come from the solar panels, or, you know, spread it across the days so that electricity is drawn slowly through their storage mechanisms. So we are putting a conscious effort towards integrating with such renewable solutions as well.
So I just want to take an opportunity to share something else about Netherlands, which I'm very fascinated about. Very recently, a startup from there has reached out. What they are doing, for everyone's information here, they are basically putting solar panel on the sides of the building, the facades of the building, to harness energy, right? I mean, you know, it's and you know, Wim, he's a scientist. You know, we've had some great conversations with him. He's he's in his elements when he's talking about with the passion that he talks about. And I think they are doing some commendable work. One of the things that at REAP we are doing is because they are extremely interested in entering India, because India is a massive market. The sun is all around, most places in India all around the year. And there are enough and more buildings where this can be done. To the point that you made about retrofitting, the point that you made about making cities more green, and and actually capturing these. I think absolutely bang on, 100% agree with you. And I know these guys, they have plans about it. He shared some of it. And we are also looking, I mean, this is for the audience at large. If you know of startups which are doing that, connect them to us. I mean, we believe that we can definitely add value and they can definitely make a massive impact. So thank you for bringing that question up.
So Apul, I want to just add on to that point. I know one of our research work that we are doing is using our grid mats and the top being solar.
Oh, yeah.
So the entire road infrastructure which is open to sun, so much of real estate available for harnessing the energy is something that we've been working on. I know there was a project in Netherlands. They have done a bicycle track with solar roads. There are a lot of countries who have explored, but still in the research model, not yet commercially large because it's capital intense. I think that's another research work that we're doing, and I think we should be there both on any kind of platform surfaces. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I think a few
Father,
last.
yeah, I think you have a question.
Yeah, I'm Father Noel from Don Bosco Network again. Sitting today, the whole day, a question has been going on in my mind. The whole process of evolution of human being. I think one side we are really afraid that we are going towards extinction if the climate change and all the concerns of sustainability. But here, sitting here, I have a feeling that we are designing again evolution. But there is a missing link which we are searching in all our discussions here from various spectrum of society, starting from healthcare, education, space technology, and all what we have taught. I think this is a beautiful platform Jose has created for many people to come on together here. I think what we need is artificial intelligence to put everything together in one place and put the human being at the center, as Paul was also saying, and can we create something? Otherwise, it's like evolution is taught in a linear fashion. Everybody goes, and so many verticals, but it's not coming together, growing up as a tree and giving birth to something which will take it forward to the future generation. I think this summit, should move on to make it a partnership summit. So it's not the individual verticals we look at, but 2-3 verticals coming together, how we can make it sustainable so that we can stop extinction and proceed with evolution.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you, Father.
Yeah,
I
just also ask Dr. Manohar. He is our South Region President of Indo-American Chamber. We are the national president, and he's also an academic and dean, and also advisor to many startups. So just your perspectives. He had another event. Somehow I forced him to come here. So thank you, Dr. Manohar. Please.
Thank you, Jose. Thank you very, very much. And whatever the time that I have spent, it was worth it. I was missing it since morning. We had, in fact, the launch of a skill development center in the electronics, manufacturing, software, etc. this morning, where the IT minister came to launch it. And the event is still going on. A lot of ideas have come on that. And I was just looking at how do we connect the dots. Technology for sustainability for cities. Although there are 2 different days for themes, but then there is a continuity from one to one. Tech for sustainability and sustainability for cities. Possibly tomorrow you will hear a lot of problems that are being faced, not just in cities. I think we should change that cities to, villages, and because cities, definitely we do have problem. Today you see in Bangalore, the groundwater level has gone to 2,000, 3,000 feet down, and then still, and many borewells have gone dry in the last 3 years, despite the floods that we are experiencing, but we don't have potable water. So this is very, very important. We should look at technology for information processing, forecasting. Is there something that we can do? Of course, there is a lot of work needed to coordinate between various departments and the private sector too. Very recently, one of our mentees came out with an idea, how brilliant or how feasible is we need to examine. The idea was that pick clusters, particularly in the non-urban areas, and then there are villages, a number of wells are there. The number of wells and some bore wells too. But then when the wells are owned by private, the domestic people, they are not willing to share the water to the whole society. Maybe the immediate neighbor may be allowed to come and take it. But there is water available there. But then another within just a few meters away the water is not available. So he came out with one kind of a solution as an idea. He said, can we create a cluster? Now, we will do a mapping of all the water resources available in terms of volume available, in terms of potability, in terms of quality of water, and can we, depending on how much can be spared, take that water to another common place, combine all these several sources and then one place, and see whether you can combine, can you collect, can you kind of transfer, is a safety issue, can we redistribute the whole thing? So this is a great idea through maybe pipeline, through mobility, tanks and kind of things. It's an idea, but then suddenly we couldn't really buy that idea because it's not so easy to do it. But then he further is working on, he's researching on the feasibility, possibly take one sample village and try to do that. There are issues relating to social issues, because again, people willing to share that, and the second thing is feasibility in terms of, is it possible to collect it? Then that means infrastructure, the transportation, the storage, processing, redistribution, pipeline, etc., etc. So if there are, if you can work on this kind of ideas, this can possibly, if this becomes a reality, thousands and thousands of villages, it will resolve the problem, because you don't have to create something new. It is available elsewhere, it's going waste, but now that can be optimized. It's just an idea I wanted to share, because we were talking about the technology for sustainability. Also, we need some kind of a design thinking to address these issues. There is more coming up tomorrow. I'm sure there will be issues, not just of Bangalore. Just go, sir, 20, 30 kilometers away, there is no water. In fact, we have textile park just some 50 kilometers away called Dodbalapur. There's a huge township that has come. It's an industrial park, but then workers are not willing to go there because the water is not available. They're taking tanks to Dodbalapur, all the industries. Some of the industries, because the cost of maintaining the people has become so high, they're closing down. Even the industries are suffering. So we need to look for this kind of social issues which have economic impact, which is also the impact on the sustainability. Just a thought that I thought I will thank you, Jose, for giving this opportunity. And I heard our national president who brought a lot more ideas. I think we should. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good, good. I think that's interesting. There's also an Israeli company that's doing it. So I think with this, you want to.
Last one, I think I'm so glad that you guys are sharing ideas. I think that's what makes us, we are able to find, because these problems, if we hear them from the community, we are able to go find people who are working on it. I mean, I can already think of ways that can be solved with using a couple of startups, IoT sensors, managing depth, sonar sensors. There are a bunch of ways to do that. I think it's important for the community to come out, share their problems, and give us a platform for the startups to go try it. I think that's been a missing link, and this has been a fantastic initiative, wherein not only have we heard from the industry in terms of acceptance or ability for them to work with the startups, but also share problems. So thank you. Jose, I know we're running late.
Even the New Water project of Singapore is an experience to share.
Absolutely.
That can be scaled down for operational efficiency and the investment as such.
Okay.
Because technology is available right in Asia,
Okay.
where wastewater is being converted into potable water, even for water for electronics manufacturing to that level.
Excellent. So I think at this note, we will conclude the panel.
Okay.
I request Dr. Kaul, please come on stage. Dr. Manohar, please come on stage. We take a picture with the speakers, because you were quite willing to offer some ideas, collaboration. So please come, we can take a group picture.
While they come up, I think it'd be good to have it. I mean, it'd be great if we could form sort of a consortium of startups which can work with the industry partners you, like Caritas.
I propose that we have a WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
Done.
Because it's got to be on a daily scale.
Absolutely.
Right? One drop per day makes it work.
Good. Yes.
Look forward to it.
So with this note, because we have this online audience, we have to take care of time also. So thank you all of you for watching this event. Please come a little forward here, because we don't need that table in the picture anyway. So thank you all the startups. You're doing great jobs. And I think together we can build a sustainable future.